All right, hey, what's up, guys? So this is gonna be a good video that I'm videotaping. I wanted to enjoy this project, but I was like, you know what? A lot of people can probably benefit from what I'm actually doing because a lot of people are deleting their trucks, but they're also wanting to delete their EGR so that there's more space in the engine bay. So let me go ahead and turn this camera around. Now this is not going to be a full video of like the EGR delete. I already have a video of that. I'll go ahead and post that in the top right if you wanted to watch a full, I don't know, I think it's 24 minutes, but here we go. So EGR is already out. All right, I put a blocking plate right here. All right, blocking plate right there. 3 bolts, they'll line up. All right, I put 1 zip tie right here, just trying to clean it up. I went ahead and plugged this. Right, this vacuum line. All right, so this is where I'm at. There's still some more work to be done. All right, like trying to get this worked out. Okay, so as you can see, 1 broken bolt. I think the other one's broken too. But anyways, this is where I'm at. Had to take out the stock intake. Let me show you all this stuff. All right, so this is actually a 2015. My video that I posted was a 2019. There's not much difference. There really isn't. So here's the stock intake. This box is stupid. I mean, I haven't replaced this because I know there's no real significant performance upgrade for, you know, just replacing or just installing a cold air intake, but this is just dumb. All right, that'll work. All right, so these bolts came out fine, as always. This was the troublemaker down here, 1 and 2. So I actually tried doing this EGR delete a while back. Now I've had this delete kit for about almost 2 years now, and I've been dreading breaking these 2 bolts and then having to figure it out. But I did come across some genius online, so this is exactly what I'm going to show you what to do just for a workaround. So I took out all 7 bolts, same 7 bolts as my 2019. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is underneath the EGR, okay? But those are the same 7 that are on 2019s up till at least 2020. At least 2019s. Okay, I'm not going to speak for the 2020s and up. All right, so these are off, all the bolts. Here's 1 bolt. It's already broken off. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Look, here's my kit. I got it set up. You see? Now, if these 2 bolts came out correctly, or if I drill them out, there's a process, there's a tool, there's a very expensive tool you can use to drill out these 2 bolts, tap in another thread, and then put in 2 new bolts. But that's not the route I'm taking because that's way too expensive, and that's just dumb. I'm not a shop, and I'm only going to be using it once. All right, so what I ended up buying, and this is what I'll do. Here's some new bolts, right? Those will replace the ones that always break. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but this is good shit. All right, so this is a screw extractor set with drill bit set. All right, so this is actually what I'm going to use because I do want to install one day this so I can monitor my EGTs, but that won't be the case for a little bit. Reason being is because I will try and do that when I replace my intake manifold and get all new piping, probably a new cold air intake, and so I'll have to remove that intake, and I'll have more room to drill and remove those 2 broken bolts that are in the exhaust manifold bay. All right, I'll put those 2 on, and I'll post the link in the description so that if you're actually in the position to drill them out and try and figure that out, like this is some good stuff. All right, but for now, what I'm going to do is I bought 2 of these. They're Chinese as fuck. I get it. I'm not a fan, but there's not many places that actually sell this. So it's a 1 inch by 11 by half NPT tapered steel pipe thread tap. Okay, here's another one, NPT. All right, I'll post the links in the description below of these taps so that you all can purchase them. I'm trying to remember why I bought two. I think one came like this one, and I was like, damn, how am I supposed to get up there? Because I do not want to take off my intake manifold. I was able to remove the EGR. That last worst bolt you can get in that far left. Usually you see people remove these two bolts, remove that, and then pull this mount out for the PCM connectors, and then remove these. It's way too much. I don't want to mess with that, so I just made it work. And actually I used two 6-inch extensions with the U-joint, and then maybe a 10 or a 12 millimeter bolt at the bottom, and I actually slipped it through here. All right, so it went down and then angled in, and I had enough leverage to take that bolt out. And that'll keep you from removing all this stuff, because I'm not a fan of doing that. All right, so I bought this one, and I was like, damn, how am I supposed to get in there underneath the intake manifold, because there's not much room. Plus, this is a stick. So anyways, I bought this one. I was like, let me see if this one comes with a different top, right? Because I can just put an adapter, put it on a 3/8 or a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Anyways, long story short, you need some of these, right, to go on top. All right, and they need to be short because I used these long sockets, 25 millimeter. Now these are 6-point. 25 millimeter 6-point works on this one. All right, now 15/16 12-point works on this one, and then a 19 mil. I think this is a little run down. It's probably best suited for a 20, but no, I think 19's better. But as you can see, it's been worked, so that's probably why it fits as a 6-point 19. But a 12-point 11/16 fits really well. Let me show you what I'm trying to tell you about. All right, so boom. Now we only have about 2, 3, about 4 inches. All right, and then we're gonna install and utilize our 1-inch 1/2-inch drive ratchet. All right. Now the amount of space you're gonna have underneath this intake manifold, right, this thing is slim to none, which is why, well, there's some room. All right, and that's why I needed a short socket, so I can get in here, put the tap in, start tapping, short socket, 3/8 drive or 1/2-inch drive ratchet, and I'm able right here, enough room to just work this tap in like that, and then I'll go ahead and vacuum all the shavings. But it's an exhaust manifold, so it'll be all right. But anyways, that is the plan. A beat's trying to pay for that tool only to use it once. That's kind of suck. That kind of sucks. But anyways, all right, so what I'm actually going to plug that exhaust manifold with, because that's actually what we're tapping into, it's that exhaust manifold. All right, so I bought this thing, as you can see. It's like a big old bolt. All right, stainless steel, or I think it is. Anyways, just look at the description and below. I did all my research before purchasing this. After I tap it with that and thread it, this is just going to be able to go right on. Okay, and that's how it plugs up that exhaust manifold. Now I'll go ahead and post the link in the description, so that you can actually use the exact same tools and things that I'm using, and I'll go ahead and post a follow-up video of everything actually installed. Now I think I can, if I drill and tap in here, I can put this sensor on it, but that's for a later time. I'm just trying to get this EGR off. So anyways, let me go ahead and finish the project and show you, or at least explain if there are any difficulties or everything went as planned, and we'll be good to go. So yeah, I'll be back. All right guys, so let me show you where I'm at. I'm pretty much done. All right, so this, see that plug right there? All right, that actually works. All right, I didn't have to take off the intake, didn't have to remove any of that. Okay, so this same hose, it's back in the firewall. I just routed it, and you're gonna have to it's like mounted right up there with like a little zip tie. You're just gonna have to cut that off so that you can maneuver it, kind of wrap it around. That plugs in right there. Factory connectors. Okay. This is on there good. This piece, actually, I got rid of. There was one small, let me see, it's probably on the ground. But let me show you this. Yep. That was my stock intake box getting in the way. All right, so this was connected to the EGR. All right, that was connected to probably another piece in the EGR. This was in the middle of the truck, and this connects over here. All right, so I actually got rid of all that and connected this one to this one. The clamps were too big, so I had to trim down the actual extra clamp, and I didn't want to, I don't want anything to cut that up, or I don't want to get cut up, so I just put some shitty electrical tape. So that'll get that job done right there. The main reason why I actually forced myself to do this EGR delete was so that I can do a coolant flush. I needed to drain the coolant anyway, so I was like, well, might as well take the time and do it. I have a weekend off, so that's what I did. All right, before I show you that, what I did to that, let's see. This originally was taken off, right? That was coming out of here. And I removed that and I put a plug on there. But I actually checked out, followed it to see where it actually went. All right, and there was another connector right here. What I ended up doing was just plugging it right there. That plug right there. Right there. Boom. Plug it up. You can get rid of that wire. This one right here, this one was like up top, plugged in right here on that hose, and this went down. All right, so where you see this new hose that came with my kit, this one right here, that connector, all right, just that clamp right there that I'm pointing on my finger, remove that clamp. Took this out because it's just kind of like, it would just be dangling right there. So I just went ahead, didn't use a shortcut and just leave it on there. Move the clamps, put on the new hose, and boom. All right, so it may be a little tough to actually put these hoses back on the plastic parts, especially with no space. Just put a little bit of soap, and that'll help slide it out, or slide it in, sorry. All right, guys, that's about it. Hopefully I gave you some tips, tricks of how to do this. This is specifically for my 2015. I think it's 2015, 2016. I think it's the same process as the 19s, or up to the 19s. So anyways, yeah, I'll go ahead and put the parts in the description below. This absolutely worked. Okay, already put it in its box, but I used that. I used a socket that I bought from the store. All right, and take your time. Take your time with this, but it does work. All right, other than that, see y'all.